Hi everyone. So I'm not Tim, obviously, I'm Jono. I'm the Chief Geologist for Trigg, and I'm here to tell you about our new antimony portfolio. I presume I just hit one of these? No? Which way do I go? Green arrow? Yep. Nope. There we are. Okay, got it. Disclaimer, of course. Come on, respond. Sorry, everyone. Can you just do something for me here? It's just not happening. It's not moving. Yep. Pressing it. There we are. Okay. So why Trigg? Really, we've managed to move very quickly into New South Wales, and we've acquired some fantastic assets. And it's those assets that I'm really here to discuss today. I'll try and make up some time quickly because of the button issue, and hopefully we'll respond again. No. Could you flick that on again, please? Okay, just a quick look at the capital structure of the company. As you can see, we've got about 3.7 million in the bank at this point in time. The share price has had a good uptick ever since we moved into the antimony space, so obviously there's a lot of interest in what we're doing. Good man, thank you. Yep, great. Okay, a quick look at the portfolio. Essentially, starting up in the top right there, the Achilles project, that's our flagship project. Swinging down to the south, we've got the Taylor's Arm project, and then across to the west, we have the Spartan project. These are right next door to Hillgrove, as you can see. No, again. I'm not being firm enough, I think. So highlights on the antimony, the Achilles project. It hosts the Wild Cattle Creek antimony resource, which is about 15,600 tonnes of contained metal at 2.56%. It's a very high-grade deposit, and it's the highest grade undeveloped deposit in Australia at this point in time. The tenement captures 6 kilometres of the Bealsdown Fault. The Wild Cattle Creek sits within that structure, and that structure is mineralised for most of its length and is at this point grossly underexplored. We have 6 confirmed targets, which we will move on to in due course, and we've run some mercury vapour work, which has identified a further 30 targets. Goodness me. Come on, move on. There we are. Okay, so focusing on the Wild Cattle Creek deposit, very quickly you can see that we have some high-grade intercepts. They're quite wide, and when we look at the diagram, the schematic there, you can see that there is a high-grade core component to it. It's a shallow plunge. It extends about 350 metres at this point down plunge, which is about 200 metres vertically. It's on average 5 metres wide, and it's all running greater than 2%. So obviously there is a lot of space for us to continue to explore and develop down plunge, and in fact that's really what we're starting to consider. Is that's the step out work that we're going to do. The other thing that we're seeing is that underneath the high grade antimony is a gold zone. Now there's only several holes that have pierced the gold zone, but what we do observe is that the gold grades are increasing as we go down. So it seems to be much like Hillgrove, and an antimony top sitting on top of a gold system. So we've moved to basically remodel this resource with the view to restating it. And what you can see is that if we look at the diagram on the right, the red and the blue represents essentially the existing resource, and then there is a green salvage. The green salvage comprises 2 parts. There's an inner antimony tungsten zone, or stockwork I should say, and there's an outer zone which is a stibnite rosette. Now, the great thing about this is that I said the blue and the red is an average of 5 metres wide. The green zone, that is currently mapping the edge of the stockwork system. That is anywhere between 11 and 80 metres wide, and the width across that is anywhere between 11 to 80 metres. So you can imagine that if we can capture most of that within a resource model, those sorts of widths, you're going to be adding substantial volumes to your resource. And that's really what we're hoping to do with our resource restatement. The other thing to note very quickly is that originally in the 2013 model, a cut-off grade of 1% was used. Obviously with the new antimony pricing structure, where it's at $38,000 per tonne, that figure will lower, and again, that means you're going to capture more volume. So we've got a couple of things which are really pointing in the right direction, that we're going to see some really good growth. So that to us is very exciting. The last thing is really the gold and tungsten has not been considered in this resource model. So once you include the gold and tungsten, you're again going to see a likely elevation in the total resource number. Stepping out regionally, as I mentioned, there's the Bealsdown Fault, which is 6 kilometres long. There's a number of targets that already sit along that. As you can see in the table, there's a lot of grade associated with most of those targets, and none of them, with the exception of Jezebel, have been drilled. Jezebel's had 3 holes, and one of those holes produced 1.3 metres at 11.8%. So a lot of upside in these regional targets. And more recently, we jumped through and did the mercury vapour work. And the mercury vapour work, though it's not so obvious here, has essentially defined a number of sub-parallel positions to the Bealsdown, and essentially where we get mercury, because mercury is part of the mineralising system at Wild Cattle Creek, where mercury is being released as a vapour, we can detect it, and where we can detect it, mercury equals stibnite, which equals mineralisation. So we've got a lot of work to do on this project. This is Taylor's Arm. Again, number of historical mines. There's 88 across the project area. Most of them are running north of 25% antimony. Many of them are in excess of 50%. We've got the highest antimony grade ever recorded in Australia here at Testers, which was running 63%. We know that gold grade also increases in this project as you move up to the northwest. So we start at 6% around the Swallow's Nest mine, 6 grams per tonne, sorry, and we move up to in excess of 24 grams per tonne as you get towards Kays Creek. So a lot of work to be done there. I guess another thing to point out is here with the Toowoomba silver mine, which sits over on the right-hand side. Toowoomba had a 23 tonne bulk sample, which produced 3,500 ounces, which works out to be a grade of almost 4,000 grams per tonne silver. So that's a very exciting project. It's 1,200 metres long and no drilling. The Spartan projects. Spartan, we're looking more for a direct Hillgrove analogue. You can see in the southwest corner there of the tenements, we pick up the Hillgrove fault. You can see Hillgrove right next door. You can see that the rocks are pretty much the same rocks. So it's just an analogue for a Hillgrove. And then lastly, our gold portfolio up in Drummond, the Drummond Basin, and just north thereof. We're really chasing 2 styles of mineralisation there. We've got a low sulphidation epithermal system, which is primarily the Drummond itself, and then as we move to the north, we move into the intrusive related copper-gold systems. We've drilled 3 diamond holes recently at Old Glenroy, and we are chasing a Pajingo analogue, and in fact we think we've found one. Now Pajingo, as you can see, is 5 million ounce gold deposit. It's got a very obvious alteration package or alteration system associated with it, and we have exactly the same thing down here. So that's just a quick picture just to show you some of the alteration that we've seen. The holes have generally, unfortunately, there are 2 holes in this area. The first hole stopped a little bit short. On the lower diagram, what you can see in the pink circle is where we think we ended up with that first diamond hole, and you can see to the bottom right there, the target zone. So we think we're actually a little bit short. We've got to go back in, drill some more holes, deepen them, and see what we get. But the beauty of that is that at the moment, there is significant upside that remains on that particular project. So all in all, I think it's an exciting time for Trigg, and apologies for the issues on the button here. And I think that'll do. Thank you.